Hi, I'm Detective Incognito. Welcome to another video. I investigate mysteries that many wouldn't dare. What you're about to see are secrets you never imagined existed. Your way of thinking will never be the same again. They told us that space was the final frontier, a place of discovery and progress, where humanity would push beyond Earth to explore the unknown. But hidden beneath the smiling astronauts, polished press conferences, and official footage lies a darker story. A story that was never meant for the public. Tonight you will hear what was forbidden to know. A history about NASA, about secrecy, about a truth locked away so carefully that its exposure shook everything. This is not rumor nor speculation. It is about a leaked file. A forbidden document revealing details that were never supposed to see daylight. Once you understand what was inside, you may never look at the stars in the same way again. And before we dive in, here's something important. If you want to keep uncovering hidden stories like this, the kind that vanish before anyone notices, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. That is how you stay ahead. How you guarantee you'll see the secrets before they are buried again. Now let us begin. It all started with one file, a single classified document, not listed in any public archive, that slipped through the cracks of secrecy. Inside were numbers, photographs, and transcripts from a mission long described as routine. But it wasn't routine. Entire sections of the report were blacked out. Heavy redactions covering words that seemed too dangerous to reveal. What remained was chilling enough. Fragments of astronaut transmissions cut off mid-sentence, replaced in the official records with silence. Photographs containing strange geometric shapes in the distance, dismissed as flaws, yet too precise to be accidents. Analysts scribbled notes in the margins, warning that several images had been altered before their release. The most disturbing section bore a simple label, Top Secret, and in it, a description of something that should not exist. The file spoke of an object on the lunar surface, not a shadow, not a rock, but something geometric, structured, unnatural. For a few brief moments it was visible on the monitors. The astronauts' voices, captured in raw transcript, reacted with disbelief. Then the feed was cut. The official record shows static, nothing more. But in the leaked version the words remain. They suggest an encounter that no one in power ever wanted the world to hear. If that file had been isolated, perhaps it could have been dismissed. But the truth is that it fits into a broader pattern that stretches across decades of NASA's history. Moments of silence, gaps in data, missing evidence. Thousands of hours of Apollo mission recordings have disappeared. Entire reels of original moon landing footage gone. Telemetry data, vital technical information vanished. NASA often explained these as mistakes, accidents, or simple misplacement. But the coincidences pile up, and each missing fragment is always from a moment of greatest curiosity, as if the world is being carefully shown only what it is meant to see. Astronauts themselves have left hints. Gordon Cooper spoke openly of encounters with unknown objects during his career. Buzz Aldrin, careful with his words, admitted they observed strange things near the moon that were quickly dismissed. Engineers whispered of photographs that were doctored before publication. Technicians told stories of parallel transcripts, one for public release, another for classified archives. For years these voices were ignored, brushed aside as exaggerations. But when the leaked file appeared, the pieces began to align. Suddenly the rumors looked less like speculation and more like testimony. It became clear that secrecy was deliberate. Not clumsy, not accidental, but systematic. Whenever something unexplained appeared, the live feed cut. Whenever data revealed anomalies, the file vanished. Whenever astronauts said something unscripted, the transcript was edited. The process repeated so consistently that it could only be described as a system. And so the question is why? Why would an agency dedicated to science, built on the spirit of exploration, choose to hide its most profound discoveries? The possible answers are unsettling. Perhaps it was fear, fear of panic, fear of religious or political collapse, fear of humanity being unprepared to face such truths. Perhaps it was power. Fragments of advanced technology were found. The nation that controlled them would control the future. Or maybe it was danger. Maybe what was discovered was not a promise but a threat. Silence then would be seen not as deceit, but as protection. Whatever the reason, the result is identical. The public receives only fragments of reality, carefully filtered, while the unfiltered truth is hidden away in vaults. The forbidden file proved that the system exists. For a moment the curtain slipped, and the world caught a glimpse of what lay beyond. The revelations of the forbidden NASA file did not just spark curiosity. They ignited a firestorm among those who studied it. Researchers, historians, and even some former employees began to compare notes. They realized that scattered across decades were hints pointing in the same direction. Official explanations often contradicted themselves. Public photos showed anomalies that mysteriously disappeared in later versions. And when documents were requested through official channels, the responses were evasive or delayed. What seemed like isolated accidents began to look like a consistent pattern of concealment. Take the case of the Apollo 11 mission. In the official broadcast, the world saw astronauts calmly describing the surface of the moon. But radio operators working on parallel channels reported something different. They claimed to have intercepted fragments of communication cut from the final record. Words that described lights on the horizon, structures silhouetted against the darkness. These operators insisted they heard panic in the voices of astronauts who otherwise seemed calm in public. Their testimonies matched the kind of redactions found in the leaked document, where lines of dialogue were abruptly blacked out. Or consider the strange disappearance of original moon landing tapes. NASA has admitted that the highest quality footage was erased, supposedly reused to save costs. But how plausible is it that the most important recordings in human history were casually taped over? Critics point out that thousands of hours of less valuable material remain perfectly preserved, while the most crucial evidence was somehow destroyed. To those who examined the leaked file, this is not coincidence. It is consistency. Always the same story. When evidence could change the way humanity sees the universe, it vanishes. The deeper question is what these vanished fragments would reveal. Some believe they point to the discovery of structures not built by human hands. Others suggest contact with unknown technology, perhaps even remnants of civilizations that predate humanity. There are theories of artifacts buried beneath the lunar soil, of spacecraft observed on silent approach, of signals intercepted but never announced. Each possibility raises profound implications. If even one of them is true, the entire history of human progress changes, and the secrecy begins to look less like protection and more like control. This is where the forbidden file becomes terrifying. In its margins are notes, handwritten by analysts, warning that releasing the information could destabilize global order, that religions might collapse, that governments would face panic, that humanity might not be ready. Those words echo the language of fear. But some ask whether fear is just an excuse to withhold power. If there truly are discoveries that redefine our place in the cosmos, then the choice to hide them robs humanity of its destiny. And yet, silence has not erased the truth. Fragments still slip through. Astronauts make careful statements in interviews, hinting without confirming. Engineers retire and whisper about photographs altered under orders. And once in a while a file leaks. Each piece adds weight to the same conclusion, that the story we are told about space is incomplete. That behind the curtain of official history lies another version, darker and more complex, a version we were never supposed to see. The most unsettling part is that we may only know a fraction of what has been concealed. If this one document revealed so much, how many more remain locked away? How many stories of discovery have been buried, their details erased, their evidence destroyed? If this is what slipped through by accident, imagine what has been kept secure for decades. The scale of what we do not know is larger than we can imagine. And so, as you hear this story, you are faced with the same question as everyone who has studied the leak. What do we do with knowledge that was never meant to be seen? Do we dismiss it as conspiracy, or do we look closer, demanding answers? The decision is personal, but it matters because every time the truth is hidden, humanity loses a part of itself. Perhaps one day the vaults will open. Perhaps the full history of exploration will be revealed. Not the polished version shown to the public, but the raw record of what was truly encountered. Until then, all we have are fragments, like the forbidden file, that whisper of structures on the moon, voices cut off mid-sentence, data erased, and evidence suppressed. These fragments are not enough to form the full picture, but they are enough to tell us one thing, that there is more. And now, you know this story. A story you were never supposed to hear. A history forbidden, hidden, and buried deep. Keep this in mind, the truth does not disappear. It waits, and it is waiting still. If you liked what you just saw, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell. Leave your opinion in the comments below to let me know what you thought. Thanks for sticking around, and see you in the next video.